Part 23. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wu Nian. Chapter 221. Life Search. Chen Mu asked subconsciously, what's the use? The system said, Life Search, can let you explore nearby celestial bodies with life. In short, it allows Chen Mu to discover other life in the universe. The question is, what's the use of Chen Mu's ability? For Chen Mu now, he has created life on 2 planets, which is equivalent to the creator of 2 planets. And life is like a tool for Chen Mu, just for him to collect evolutionary abilities. What's the use of life exploration? It's useless. Inside the earth. In a canyon. There is a high waterfall in the canyon, and there is a hot spring with misty mist under the waterfall. A woman with 9 tails is soaking in the hot spring, surrounded by pink petals. She closed her eyes and enjoyed the happiness brought to her by the bath. At this time, someone came over. It was a woman with a gray wolf tail. After the woman came in, her eyes fell on the woman in the hot spring. Seeing the woman in front of her, the wolf girl's eyes glowed with a strange luster. So beautiful. The woman in the hot spring is closing her eyes. Her appearance is absolutely beautiful and charming. She is the 9-tailed demon ancestor, the ancestor of all demons. She created the entire demon clan and is recognized as the most powerful existence in the demon clan. As famous as her strength is her reputation. The 9-tailed demon ancestor is considered by humans, demons, and dragons to be the most beautiful and charming existence in the world. In terms of strength, in the eyes of the wolf girl, no one is the opponent of the 9-tailed demon ancestor in front of her, and in terms of the beauty and charm of women, no one can compare to her. The 9-tailed demon ancestor slowly opened her deep orange pupils, and she subconsciously looked at the wolf girl. What's the matter? The wolf girl was startled, then she came back to her senses and said, the king of the mechanical tribe wants to meet you. 9-tailed eyebrows slightly stretched, and said, didn't I say it? The affairs of the demon tribe are now fully handled by the new demon king Xiao. If the guys of the mechanical tribe have any problems, just find Xiao and tell them not to bother me. As she said that, 9-tailed got up from the hot spring on her own, and 2 maids came over and wrapped 9-tailed with a long black robe. The wolf girl lowered her head and said, yes. 9-tailed held her silver hair, took a comb, and combed her hair. Also, today is an important day of the year, let Xiao handle the matter, don't mess it up. If he wakes up and is unhappy, I will make you unhappy too. Speaking of this, she slightly turned her face and looked at the wolf girl, with indifference in her eyes. The wolf girl felt the horrible pressure, she swallowed her saliva, and nodded slowly, yes. Kuabai retracted her gaze, sat down at the dressing table next to her, and said, go out. Yes. 2 maids came over to tidy up Kuabai's hair and clothes. Kuabai looked at herself in the mirror. Today is the most important day of every year. Since Kuabai was handed over to Green by her father more than 2,700 years ago, she has only one thought left. Become stronger, become strong enough to complete the tasks assigned by her father, strong enough to help her father, strong enough to get her father's recognition. This is her goal during this period. And these goals, in fact, she has already achieved. She studied with Green, who treated her like her own sister, teaching Kuabai what justice, peace, kindness, and evil are. She was very kind and very good to Kuabai. Later, Kuabai unknowingly discovered that she could control the nanorobots in the air, and Green also helped Kuabai at that time, teaching Kuabai how to control and use that ability. After many years of exploration, coupled with the words left by Chen Mu, Zhu Wei finally knew how to use the characteristics of nanorobots to turn animals into highly intelligent creatures like her. She also realized what the humans on Earth had done to those animals. In order to complete Chen Mu's task, she turned those animals into highly intelligent creatures and gave them the ability to control nanorobots. Later, humans called these creatures with advanced intelligence and human and animal appearances monsters. These beings also gradually gained an identity, the monster clan. The main existence of the monster clan is to protect animals. Then, as time went by, the monster clan became more and more numerous, enough to compete with humans, and humans could no longer kill animals as wantonly as before. The entire eastern continent became the world of humans and monsters. And Jiwei, who created the monster clan, became the recognized ancestor of all monsters by humans and monsters. After completing the task, Jiwei couldn't wait to return to the moon to find Chen Mu, wanting to tell him that she had completed the task he gave her. But when Jiwei returned to the moon, she found Chen Mu resting. She was a little confused at first. Later, Lve explained to Jiwei. She said, the ancestor created various new mechanical life forms on Mars, which consumed too much mental energy, so he fell into a deep sleep. Don't disturb him. After a while, he will naturally wake up like before. After hearing this, Jiwei understood the greatness of Chen Mu. She did not disturb Chen Mu, and chose to return to Earth to continue to complete the task assigned to her by Chen Mu. She set a time for herself. Every spring day, she would return to the moon to stay with Chen Mu, waiting for him to wake up. She hoped that her father would see her the first time he opened his eyes. She wanted to tell her father what she had always wanted to say. She was not a child anymore, she had completed the task he had given her, and she could help him. She wanted to see her father's surprised expression. Jiwei remembered very clearly that her father had been sleeping for 2,731 years. But Jiwei knew that her father was not dead, he was just resting. She was sure he would wake up. When she thought of her father's surprised expression when he woke up and heard about her deeds, a smile appeared on the beautiful face in the mirror. He has always been thinking about these lives, and has always advocated making the world peaceful and stable, and letting all things live in harmony. If he knew that I had completed the task he had given me, he would be very happy. At the same time, Chen Mu on Earth was thinking about a problem. If he wanted to continue to evolve, he would need to obtain more materials. I have become a planet as huge as the Earth. I estimate that the energy evolution progress required this time has reached a terrifying value. To meet this evolutionary energy, it is estimated, a bit life-threatening. There is another question. What should I do with these creatures on the Earth next? According to the previous system, the life created by atomic creation will still provide me with energy even if I evolve into other creatures. In other words, even if I am the Earth now, they will still provide me with energy. But the problem is that if I want to obtain energy, I have to devour it, and if I want to devour myself, I have to leave. Even if the Earth is farther or closer to the Sun, the life on the Earth will die. It is a matter of dying early or late. Otherwise, I will devour them first. Anyway, they will die sooner or later, so why not turn them into my energy directly? Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 222. Besides, as the Earth, it was indeed uncomfortable for these guys to stay on me, although I didn't feel anything at all. But I felt a little uncomfortable in my heart. Let's swallow it, Chen Mu thought, and used the swallowing ability directly. He planned to use the swallowing ability to clean up all the creatures on the surface of the Earth like cleaning bacteria. With the use of the swallowing ability, the whole Earth lit up with a faint golden light. At the same time, Nine-Tailed, who was on the Earth, was dressed up by two maids, but at this moment, the ground under her feet lit up with a faint golden halo. She felt the appearance of this halo, and she subconsciously turned her face to look at the hot spring under the waterfall. The hot spring lit up with golden light. Seeing this golden light, Nine-Tailed's eyes were full of doubts. After the golden light came on, it lasted for about 5 seconds, and then slowly dissipated. The people on the earth also discovered these anomalies. One by one, they looked at the golden light that suddenly appeared and gradually dissipated on the ground under their feet, and they were puzzled. What happened just now? It seems to be lit up. Yeah, lights are lit up everywhere. What a strange phenomenon. Is there any treasure coming out? In the sky above the western continent, there are islands floating one after another. These islands are made up of nanorobots, and the angels live on the islands. Although angels can return to the moon from the earth within 2 seconds, the angel's consciousness vision does not see the situation on the earth from the moon, so in order to facilitate the management of the earth, the angels used nanorobots to build this artificial island. In this way, you only need to stay in the artificial island to use the consciousness vision to watch the earth below. On this artificial island, Lve frowned when she felt the changes in the entire earth. What's going on? Lve asked subconsciously. But no one could give her an answer to Lve's question. At the same time, Chen Mu, who used the ability to devour, found it strangely ineffective. No effect? Can't devour? Why? Is it because I turned into the earth, and the earth belongs to a planet, so the devouring ability can only devour planets, and can't devour living things? This is impossible. System, why can't I devour the creatures on earth? Chen Mu asked the system. The system said, the creatures on earth are part of the earth. At the same time, the creatures you create with atoms are assumed to be part of you. You can devour creatures, but you can't devour them. You can't devour yourself by default. Chen Mu was silent. So that's how it is. Take the human body as an example. There are various cells in the human body, and these cells are living things. Sometimes some immune cells will attack the body due to misjudgment, but this does not mean that those immune cells are not part of the body. Therefore, the creatures on Chen Mu's body are part of Chen Mu's body, so it is assumed that they cannot be devoured. Of course, this is just a default. If Chen Mu wants to force it, he can do it. However, this is equivalent to self-mutilation. In this case, these creatures are already considered part of my body. Even if I devour them, my energy will not increase at all. In other words, it's useless. Since it's useless, Chen Mu is too lazy to swallow them. He let go of his vision and opened his consciousness vision. At present, Chen Mu's conscious vision is already at the planetary level, with the Earth as the center, but he doesn't know how far it is. Chen Mu enlarged his conscious vision to the maximum, and he found that his conscious vision could cover Mars and Venus. If Mars can be seen from the Earth, that is to say, the radius of my conscious vision is at least 54 million kilometers. Such a distance is very exaggerated. But it is only Mars and Venus. Chen Mu narrowed his conscious vision and his sight fell on the Earth. Suddenly, Chen Mu noticed something strange. The Earth is rotating. Although the amplitude is very small, Chen Mu can clearly feel that the Earth is rotating. The Earth will rotate, and the rotation time is 24 hours a day. It rotates about 1,600 kilometers in 1 hour. But the creatures on the Earth cannot feel it. The Earth will rotate, and the rotation forms a 24-hour day. This is common sense, and it is also common sense known to everyone. Chen Mu naturally knows it, but it is still quite interesting to feel the rotation of the Earth outside the Earth. Congratulations on your successful evolution. You have received an evolutionary reward, which increases the energy gained by the organism 10,000 times. Hearing this new reward, Chen Mu was stunned for a moment. Energy gained by the organism 10,000 times. The system gave an explanation. When the organisms you created obtain energy, you can obtain evolutionary energy at the same time. The evolutionary energy obtained through the organisms you created will be 10,000 times greater. Hearing this, Chen Mu's heart moved. That is to say, the energy obtained by the organisms he created with atoms before is even greater. Wait a minute. No. If this is the case, Chen Mu said, at present, these creatures on my body should all be part of my body. Except for plants, the herbivores and carnivores eat the creatures on my body. Can I get energy in this way? No, the system said, your body is currently a whole. The energy conversion in your body is all carried out in your body, so it doesn't count. For the entire Earth environment, all creatures are actually a reincarnation of matter. For humans, babies come from a fertilized egg. The fertilized egg obtains nutrients from the mother's body, and the nutrients come from food, and the nutrients of food come from the earth. When a baby grows up and gets old, in this process, it needs to obtain nutrition, and at the same time, it will return some things that it cannot use to the earth. Until the human dies, the body returns to the soil and turns into new substances. These substances will convert new nutrients and supply other lives, perhaps one of which is a newborn baby. Then continue to reincarnate infinitely. As long as you stay in the earth, all the activities of biological animals are just a reincarnation inside the earth. For Chen Mu, it is the reincarnation of matter in his body, so it cannot be considered as new energy. In this case, if you want these guys to provide you with power, you have to drive them out of your body. Chen Mu thought. Forget it, ignore it for now. Chen Mu's eyes fell on other planets. Compared to these, Chen Mu is more interested in the planets in front of him. These Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, aren't these all existing material energy? Chen Mu looked at the Venus in front of him, and his heart was moved. Food. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 223. Chen Mu's devouring ability can directly devour beings smaller than himself. Venus is the closest planet to the Earth, with a volume of 88% of the Earth and a mass of 4/5 of the Earth. In other words, Venus is smaller than the Earth. Since Venus is smaller than the Earth, Chen Mu doesn't need to think too much. Chen Mu used his control ability to control his huge body, and then controlled his body to move towards Venus. His speed instantly increased to the speed of light, and at that moment, the entire Earth was wrapped in golden light. At the same time, Zhu, who was standing in the canyon, had already dressed up. She raised her face and looked at the moon in the sky. Suddenly, the entire Earth lit up. Zhu's body turned into golden light. Then, a dazzling golden light emanated from the surface of the Earth, devouring all the creatures and plants on the entire Earth. The entire Earth turned into a sphere emitting a golden halo. The golden ball flew past like light and instantly swept towards Venus. The moment the huge body touched Venus, the entire Venus also turned into golden light and quickly sank into Chen Mu's body. The process was too huge, and it would not be swallowed up in an instant. From a distant place in the outside world, looking here, you can see two golden spheres merging together, one of the smaller golden spheres shrinking little by little, and the light entering the larger sphere little by little. Chen Mu's consciousness was still there, and he could see the scene in front of him through his consciousness. At the same time, Chen Mu also noticed that the moon next to the Earth also turned into a golden sphere, but the moon was not swallowed by Chen Mu like Venus, but remained still in its original position. At this moment, all the creatures on the Earth disappeared, and all the creatures on the moon also disappeared. All that can be seen is the golden sphere. Chen Mu's body size grew a circle at a speed visible to the naked eye, until the entire Venus was swallowed up. As Venus was swallowed up, the golden light on Chen Mu's body slowly dissipated, and as the golden light dissipated, the appearance of a blue planet was finally revealed. When the appearance of the blue planet was restored, the golden light on the surface of the Earth slowly faded, and the golden light on the surface of the Earth began to reconstruct the creatures that were previously on the surface of the Earth. Soon, the canyon reappeared, and the waterfall reappeared. The hot spring under the waterfall reappeared. The 9 tails next to the hot spring also reappeared. All the animals and plants that were originally swallowed by the gold were reshaped by gold at the same moment. Then they regained life. The 9 tails looked at the moon above, her eyes were shining, and a smile appeared on her face. Finally dressed up, next I can go to see my father. She didn't seem to notice anything unusual. After the voice fell, golden light emerged from behind the 9 tails, which were the light formed by countless nanorobots, and these nanorobots formed a pair of wings behind her. She flapped her wings and flew directly. In an instant, her figure flew out of the earth and came to the moon. Standing on the moon, Zhu Wei felt something was wrong. She subconsciously looked around and looked towards the sun. The scene she saw made Zhu Wei's pupils shrink slightly. At this moment, in Zhu Wei's eyes, the sun was much larger than when it was on Earth. It was different from before. This strange phenomenon made Zhu Wei a little uneasy. Something was wrong. She had a very strong feeling that something was wrong. Zhu Wei did not have as wide a conscious vision as Chen Mu, so she could only sense something was wrong through the changes in the sun, but she could not find out what was going on. After all, her field of vision was very small. Now the Earth is at the position of Venus, but even so, she can't feel much change. Because the distance is too far, even if you look at Venus on the moon, you can only see a bright star. The moon is very close to the Earth, so here, it is also possible to explain it with the position of the Earth. Venus is the planet closest to the Earth. When we look at Venus from Earth, we can only see it as a star because it is too far away. We call that star the North Star or the morning star, that is, the brightest star we see in the morning is Venus. Therefore, when Chen Mu came to the orbit of Venus, the creatures on Earth and the moon did not feel strongly. Therefore, in addition to finding that the sun had become a little bigger, Zhu Wei did not feel anything else. Although the surrounding environment did not seem to be much different, the sensitive Zhu Wei still felt a strong sense of something wrong, and she subconsciously frowned. But there was no way to know what was going on, so she could only temporarily suppress her strange thoughts. No matter what, let's go see Dad first. I wonder if Dad has woken up. Zhu Wei's face was full of smiles, and she walked towards Chen Mu's room with expectation. She would never have thought that the Earth next to the moon was Chen Mu. After Chen Mu swallowed Venus, he also found changes in his body, so he subconsciously looked at the creatures living on the surface of his Earth. Those creatures did not feel any discomfort, but continued their daily lives as usual. It was as if the Earth had no effect on them after it came to the orbit of Venus. Why is this happening? Chen Mu's heart moved, and he understood. The reason was very simple, because the system had already regarded these creatures as part of Chen Mu's body, and Chen Mu's body had the ability to adapt to the environment, so under the effect of instant adaptability, these guys naturally could not have any special situation because the Earth moved. In other words, even if I throw myself into the arms of the sun now, they will be fine. After realizing this, Chen Mu was too lazy to think about it. He opened his consciousness vision, and then in his consciousness vision, he could only see himself and space. Before, he could see himself, Mars and Venus. After all, the consciousness vision is not the vision of the naked eye. The consciousness vision is a sphere. Although Chen Mu's consciousness vision is very large now, it is not like the naked eye that shoots straight out. As long as it is not within the range of this consciousness vision, Chen Mu cannot see it. When Chen Mu was at the original position of the Earth, he could see Venus and Mars, which means that his vision was about 400 million kilometers. But Mercury, the closest to Venus, is also 500 million kilometers away. Therefore, Chen Mu, who is currently on Venus, cannot see other planets. Of course, this is not a problem for Chen Mu. The body of the Earth glowed with golden light. The light condensed into the shape of an angel, and returned to Chen Mu's previous appearance. Chen Mu crossed his arms and looked around. What he wanted was to judge his current position with his naked eyes. As long as he knew where the sun was, he could determine where he should go. There are planets such as Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter in the solar system waiting for him to take a sip. In the moon, Zhu, who had just opened Chen Mu's bedroom door, looked at the empty bed and froze on the spot. "Dad." She frowned suddenly, then turned around and walked out. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 224. On the other side, high above the earth, on the island made of nanorobots. Countless angels are living on the island. Angels led by Green are flying in the air. All the angels have just discovered the golden light emanating from the earth, but now they don't know what's going on. Green subconsciously opened her consciousness and checked the situation nearby. "Sister Green, look over there." Suddenly, a voice sounded in Green's ears, and this voice attracted Green's thoughts. Green came back to her senses and looked at an angel next to her. The angel was pointing in a direction with her hand. Green subconsciously looked in that direction and saw a sun. The sun is a little bigger than before. It seems to be, it feels a lot bigger. So weird. What's going on? Green also keenly felt this strange astronomical phenomenon, and she frowned. Angels have been managing the entire Earth civilization for nearly 3,000 years. During these 3,000 years, many things happened on Earth, but these things were all within her control. However, the abnormalities of the Earth and the sky now caught Levi off guard. What happened? "Sister Levi, I feel that the scope of my conscious vision has become so large." Suddenly, an angel spoke. Hearing this, the other angel subconsciously tried. "Yes, my conscious vision has also become so large." Some angels couldn't help but show surprise. Hearing this, Levi was stunned. Consciousness vision. Consciousness vision is their ancestor. The ability given to them by Chen Mu facilitates them to observe the situation on Earth, which is just. Hearing that there is a problem with the consciousness vision, Levi was a little confused for a while. She also opened her consciousness vision and enlarged her consciousness vision. She was surprised to find that when she enlarged her consciousness vision, the consciousness vision, which was originally limited to a radius of 100,000 kilometers, actually exceeded the limit, and it was rapidly enlarged from a radius of 100,000 kilometers to a radius of 1 million kilometers, and it was still increasing. Soon, the conscious vision expanded to leave the Earth, and the entire Earth was covered by the conscious vision. Through the conscious vision, Levi saw a familiar figure. After seeing that figure, Levi understood in an instant. Ancestor Levi's eyes lit up slightly. She immediately understood what was going on. Levi looked back at the other angels behind her, and she said, "Sisters, I'm going to see the ancestor, you wait here." The angels were slightly startled and subconsciously looked at Levi. Levi flapped her wings, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared from the vision of all angels. Chen Mu looked in the direction of the sun with his naked eyes. After determining the direction of the sun, Chen Mu was about to use his control ability to control the Earth to leave this position. But suddenly, a light lit up beside him. Chen Mu saw a light coming directly from the Earth. In an instant, the light appeared in front of Chen Mu. "Ancestor." Hearing this voice, Chen Mu saw a familiar figure. It was Levi. Lvi looked at Chen Mu with her clear eyes, full of joy. "You are awake." "Lvi," Chen Mu said, "how did you know I was here?" After seeing Lvi, Chen Mu was a little confused. Lvi was slightly startled, and she said, "It is the consciousness vision you gave us, the ancestor." The scope of consciousness vision has become very large, the whole world can be seen, and you can be seen. Chen Mu understood. I shared Lvi's consciousness vision before, and the effects of these consciousness visions will be upgraded with the upgrade of my system. Lve and the others are the same. Just in time for you to come, I have something to ask you, Chen Mu said. It's been more than 2,000 years now, how has humanity developed now? Lve thought for a moment and said, more than 2,000 years ago, a lot of natural energy appeared in the world. From that time on, humans would not die except for fatal injuries. Those humans realized that the more natural energy they obtained, the stronger they could become. From that time on, the most important activity of humans was to collect the natural energy scattered everywhere. It's the same now. Chen Mu frowned. Natural energy, are you talking about those nanorobots? Lve was slightly startled. Nanorobots? Looking at Lve's confused look, Chen Mu's heart moved. He understood that Chen Mu had been busy with his own affairs all along and had not mentioned the nanorobots to Lve. Although Lve had her own conscious vision, she didn't know how to open the atomic vision, so she didn't know the existence of nanorobots. This is not surprising. Because she didn't know the existence of nanorobots, and her consciousness and eyes couldn't see the true appearance of nanorobots, Lvi, as an angel, also misunderstood these nanorobots as something else. It was obvious that the natural energy she was talking about was those nanorobots. The natural energy you are talking about is those nanorobots, Chen Mu said. Those things are made up of spherical robots that are invisible to the naked eye. Lvi was a little confused. Seeing Lvi's expression, Chen Mu didn't plan to explain more. But at this moment, Chen Mu realized one thing. Chen Mu currently needs to throw these creatures in his body outside, so that they can obtain energy for him. When they leave Chen Mu's body, they are not one with him. Without instant adaptation and shelter, they will die. In other words, if you want them to leave him early and develop outside, you need one thing. Technology. As long as the technology they have reaches the point where they can start space travel, they can help themselves obtain more evolutionary energy. Chen Mu said, in other words, in these 2,000 years, those humans have not been studying science. Lve hummed and said softly, no, in the Western continent, those natural energies are called magic elements or fighting spirit, and in the Eastern continent they are called spiritual power. By the way, there is also Jiwei. Jiwei created the demon race, and the demon race called those nanorobots natural energy. Many of all highly intelligent life forms are pursuing these things. As for science, I haven't heard of it. Lve gave Chen Mu the answer. And this answer made Chen Mu frown. Then, his eyebrows relaxed. It seems that the nanorobots should be taken back. Before, the nanorobots helped Chen Mu feed the creatures in the farm, but now even if the creatures on the surface of the earth are fed, they cannot obtain evolutionary energy. On the contrary, because of the existence of these nanorobots, these highly intelligent creatures are obsessed with obtaining nanorobots instead of developing science, which is simply a waste of more than 2,000 years. If these advanced intelligent life forms do not develop technology, they will not be able to leave the earth, and then they will not be able to help Chen Mu collect energy outside. Now the existence of these nanorobots has brought only harm to Chen Mu. In other words, it is time to take these nanorobots back. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 225. Within the Western Continent. High on the mountain, a delicate young man stood on the mountain peak, looking at the islands suspended in the sky. Behind the man stood a girl wearing armor. The girl looked at the man in front of her and said, "Master, do you really want to challenge the angels? Angels are real gods, and no one can defeat them." The wind blew, and the man's long hair fluttered. He said calmly, "They are gods, am I not a god?" The girl was slightly startled, and she looked at the back of the man in front of her. The girl's name is Wu Xian. Wu Xian was adopted by her master since she was a child and raised her from childhood. Now she has been following her master for more than 20 years. In this world, Strong people have energy in their bodies, and energy will help repair injured cells in the human body, allowing people to never age unless there is not enough energy in the body. As for Wu Xian's master, he has lived for a full 500 years and has an incomparable amount of energy in his body. The more energy, the stronger the strength. Wu Xian's master Tang Jian is such a powerful being. Tang Jian is respected by strong men of all races. Whenever people see Tang Jian, they will call him Sword God. Sword God Tang Jian, this name is known to everyone in this world. But the Sword God means that Tang Jian is good at using swords and his strength is unrivaled in the world, so he is respected as a god. But this god is not the same existence as the true angel with wings who lives on the empty island. Angels have always been recognized as true gods. Although during this long period of time, there were some reckless people who tried to challenge the angels, but in the end, all of them failed without exception. Now I see my master Tang Jian wants to challenge the angel. Wu Xian was very worried and said, "Master." Tang Jian put one hand behind his back, looked at the empty island in the sky, and said, "Your current strength has not reached the level of being a teacher, so you cannot understand being a teacher." Its lonely sword god said leisurely, "I have been invincible for more than 100 years. In these more than 100 years, no one has been my opponent. This feeling of invincibility has gradually made me lose my previous vigor. This is not what I want as a teacher. So, I must challenge the true God." The sword god stared at the empty island in the sky and narrowed his eyes. He opened his mouth and shouted with a strong sense of loneliness, "I am invincible in the human world. If I don't fight with God, who will I fight with?" Hearing this, Wu Xian knew that she could not stop her master. She could only look at her master silently. Golden light lit up behind the sword god, and suddenly, the light condensed into a pair of wings. After an extremely long time, many highly intelligent beings have mastered how to use the energy that appeared more than 2000 years ago. The sword god is even better at using that energy, so he can become a sword god. The humans here call that energy fighting spirit. The sword god flapped his fighting energy and turned into wings, flying towards the island high in the sky. As the apprentice of the sword god, Wu Xian watched the sword god off. The sword god challenges the true god. This battle is destined to shock the world. Wu Xian knew that her master would not let her down. The sword god flew towards the sky island, flying to an altitude of tens of thousands of meters. At the same time, beyond Earth, Chen Mu said, "System, I want to erase all nanobots. What should I do?" The voice of the system sounded, "Currently, your body is a planet, and the planetary system has been activated. As long as it is within the scope of your consciousness and smaller than you can control and erase it. You can use the control ability to lock all objects within the scope of your consciousness. Nanobots, give the order to erase." Chen Mu crossed his chest with his hands. The ability to control. Erase all nanobots. Accompanying Chen Mu's order was issued. At the same time, sword god Tang Jian had already flown to an altitude of more than 10,000 meters. He looked at the sky island getting closer and closer in front of him, and his expression became more and more solemn. As long as he flies to the sky island, he, the sword god, will see the true God. Defeating the transcendent true God has been his dream all along. Being invincible in the world does not mean being truly invincible. Only when I defeat the true God can I be truly invincible. He has gained more than 500 years of fighting spirit. As a sword god, he can currently destroy everything within 100 meters with one sword, and can open mountains with one sword. Now he has enough confidence, and he is confident that he can defeat the true angel. Angels, the sword god is here. Just when the sword god was full of energy, the pair of wings behind the sword god suddenly disappeared. The wings disappeared. The sword god was stunned. After being stunned, he lost the ability to fly brought by his wings, and his body suddenly fell down. What's going on? The sword god wanted to mobilize the fighting energy in his body, but he was shocked to find that all the fighting energy in his body had disappeared. The sword god's pupils trembled slightly. No, no. His whole body fell from the sky. It fell directly from an altitude of 10,000 meters. Boom. With a muffled sound, his entire body hit the hard ground. The ground sunk and a pit appeared. Sword god Tang Jian lay in the pit. See this pit in front of you. Wu Xian was stunned on the spot. Master, Wu Xian screamed, rushed over and entered the pit. She came to her master's side and looked at her master. Sword god Tang Jian's eyes widened, blood could be seen in his mouth and nose, he was gone. Master, Wu Xian shouted in disbelief. No one would believe it. Sword god Tang Jian, who had been invincible in this world for more than 100 years, actually fell to death. Boom boom boom. There were bursts of strange noises in the sky. Wu Xian heard the strange noises and looked up, only to see that the sky island suspended in the air began to explode, and the entire sky island was falling down due to gravity. Boom. Accompanied by a loud rumble. Dust flew and the wind blew. Seeing this, Wu Xian was stunned for a moment. In the whole world, the so-called magic elements, fighting spirit, and spiritual energy, all disappeared at this moment. In the entire planet, all the highly intelligent life forms had some confusion and uneasiness on their faces. Some people who relied on these things to gain supreme status and power realized that the energy in everyone's body was gone. Many people fell into despair. The whole world was in chaos. The whole world seemed to have entered the end of the world. For these people, the disappearance of the world's energy has a huge impact, most of which is bad. Of course, for Chen Mu, he is just simply taking back what he has been given for more than 2,000 years, which is nothing. For Chen Mu, after these humans lose these energies, they will definitely start to engage in technology. In this way, humans will get real development. Ancestor. Chen Mu came back to his senses and looked at Lv beside him. Lv looked at Chen Mu and said with a smile, Ancestor, when you were asleep, Zhu Wei had completed the task you gave her. After that, she actively maintained justice and peace, established the demon race, and stabilized the relationship between highly intelligent life and those animals. Oh, it's good, Chen Mu responded casually. Lv smiled and said, if she knew that you, the ancestor, woke up, she would be very happy. Chen Mu glanced at Lv and said nothing. Frankly speaking, Chen Mu doesn't care about the nine-tailed fox right now. He is now thinking about how to quickly continue to obtain more evolutionary energy, and there are only two things he needs to do at present. One is to continue to devour nearby planets, and the other is to develop these highly intelligent lives staying in his body to let them develop technology and then start space travel. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 226. Suddenly, there was light flying from the earth. The light flew to Liu Yi's side, revealing her appearance. It was none other than Angel Vivi. Then one after another angels flew out from the earth and came to Chen Mu. Chen Mu looked at the group of angels in front of him. His eyebrows spread slightly. Ancestor Wen Wei saw the surprise in Chen Mu's eyes, she couldn't help but say hello to Chen Mu. Ancestor other angels followed suit and greeted Chen Mu. They looked at Chen Mu, their eyes full of excitement, and surprise. The ancestor finally woke up. Nothing makes angels happier than this. Chen Mu wants the highly intelligent beings on the earth to explore real technology. After all, the spiritual power that those advanced intelligent beings think of is not the so-called spiritual power at all, but is just a nanorobot created by Chen Mu. Those advanced intelligent beings are very ignorant and regard nanorobots as natural energy. They do not study technology or develop meaningful things. They only know how to acquire these nanorobots in vain, and at the same time do so-called cultivation to destroy their bodies. If those advanced intelligent beings are allowed to continue to develop, it is estimated that in a few million years, these advanced intelligent beings will still be meaninglessly pursuing superficial power. They will not even know what nanorobots are. If they leave the Earth and start space travel, don't even think about it. After erasing these nanorobots, these advanced intelligent life forms will calm down and study those technologies. Of course, if you want them to calm down and study technology, they must have a good environment, and at the same time, there must be people who can teach them about various technologies. Angels who have almost become believers in advanced intelligent life naturally help Chen Mu. The best channel to spread technology. But the problem is, even if you want them to spread it, you must have relevant scientific and technological knowledge. Of course, this problem is not difficult for Chen Mu. Chen Mu currently has a system knowledge base, and he can just share the knowledge base function with Liu Yi and others through capability sharing. While Chen Mu was thinking, "Ancestor, a strange thing happened in the earth," a voice sounded. Chen Mu came back to his senses and looked at the angel who was speaking. It was Qing who was speaking. It was Qing who was speaking. Chen Mu looked at Qing. "What's weird?" Qing said, "Just now the whole earth lit up with golden light, and not long after that, all the natural energy in the earth disappeared at that moment." All natural energy disappeared. Liu Yi was stunned for a moment, and she looked at Qing in disbelief. Qing nodded. "Before, we used natural energy to support our sky island. Because the natural energy disappeared, the sky island also collapsed." "That's not natural energy," Chen Mu interrupted Qing. Hearing this, the angels all looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu said, "Those are just a group of nanorobots, but they are too small, so small that they are invisible to the naked eye. They are not natural energy." The angels looked at Chen Mu, looking a little confused. Liu Yi's heart moved, and she said, "Ancestor, did you make those nanorobots?" Chen Mu hummed. Hearing this, the green eyes lit up slightly, and a smile appeared on her face. "Although we know that we have guessed that the ancestor did it, but the ancestor has never been sure, and we can't be sure. Now we are finally sure. Ancestor, so awesome. He is indeed our ancestor. I knew it was the ancestor who did it. The ancestor is simply too powerful. Then we must be sure that the ancestor is the creator God." The angels all started talking about it. They looked at Chen Mu with even more respect. "It's just that, the ancestor, those nanorobots suddenly disappeared." Liu Yi looked at Chen Mu. "Is this also done by the ancestor?" She was a little confused. Chen Mu hummed. Liu Yi was stunned for a moment, and she said, "Why is this?" Having lived with those advanced intelligent beings for nearly 3,000 years, no one understands those advanced intelligent beings better than angels, and no one understands better than angels the various benefits that those nanorobots bring to those advanced intelligent beings. If those nanorobots were suddenly withdrawn, the results would be devastating to advanced intelligent life. Many creatures will die because of this incident. "You care?" Chen Mu looked at Liu Yi. Frankly speaking, Chen Mu didn't intend to explain more. Liu Yi said, "Whether it is for the elves or other races, the existence of nanorobots is really important. Since they have nanorobots, they don't need to eat and drink, and they don't have to be too afraid of birth, old age, illness, and death. At the same time, nanorobots can also change. They will collect crystals and use them as currency. For all kinds of advanced intelligent life on Earth, current nanorobots are irreplaceable," Liu Yi said. "If nanorobots disappear from the Earth, the contradictions accumulated in the past will explode in large numbers, and the whole world will fall into turmoil. This once the conflict breaks out, a large number of advanced intelligent beings will die. It seems that it is difficult for life on Earth to defeat these nanorobots. In this case, it seems that some explanation is needed. Chen Mu hummed, "That's why I need you." Lu Yi was slightly startled, and she looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu said, "The existence of nanorobots at present has only disadvantages and no advantages for this world. Indeed, nanorobots have helped them and brought them countless benefits, but at the same time they have also limited their pace of development. If they continue at this pace, it is estimated that in a few million years, they will not be able to leave the Earth and start space travel. This is not what I want to see. Since you want to cure a stubborn disease, you have to experience severe pain," Chen Mu said, "and you are the medicine that can relieve pain." Hearing this, Levi's eyes lit up, and her eyes were full of admiration. She said, "Ancestor, your vision is far-sighted, which is beyond our reach." "The ancestor's vision is far-sighted, which is beyond our reach," the other angels also spoke up. Angels will not flatter, and they don't know how to flatter. So, what Levi and the others said now is their true words. Whatever Chen Mu does, it is right. This is what Levi and the others think, because in the past 3,000 years, it also tells Levi and the others that Chen Mu has never missed anything, and everything he does is right. Therefore, they believed in Chen Mu. No matter how great the upheavals and deaths of those advanced intelligent beings were, what Chen Mu said and did was right. This was all for justice and peace. Chen Mu was an extremely great existence. Chen Mu said, "There are many things you need to do now. I need you to use your own abilities to ensure the normal operation of this world and maintain the order that has always existed. At the same time, I need you to study technology, and then, when the time is right, spread these various basic technologies to these advanced intelligent beings so that they can grow. Yes. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first." Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 227. Chen Mu shared the knowledge base with the angels. The knowledge base is what Chen Mu wants the angels to know about technology, so that they don't live for such a long time like now, but don't even understand nanorobots. With the scientific knowledge in the knowledge base, when the angels learn, they can also spread it to other advanced intelligent life on the Earth. Of course, the knowledge base can only give knowledge. If there is only knowledge but no means to use this knowledge, it is nonsense. Therefore, Chen Mu chose to share the atomic creation ability with Lve, so that she can use the ability of atomic creation to create materials, and cooperate with the knowledge base to quickly understand and use various technologies. Atomic creation. After obtaining the atomic creation ability, Lve was stunned and couldn't help looking at Chen Mu. "Ancestor, this is the ability to create the world." After obtaining the atomic creation ability shared by Chen Mu, Lve also obtained the ability to use it as before. The smart Lve knew at once that this was the ability used by Chen Mu to create the world. She never expected that Chen Mu would actually share the ability to create the world with her. Looking at the shock on Lve's holy and beautiful face, Chen Mu looked at Lve's expression and said, "This ability combined with the knowledge base can allow you to quickly understand technology and the use of various materials, so that you can quickly understand what technology is and how to teach those advanced intelligent life forms. You can use this ability yourself, whether to create a home for angels or to create new angels, but I don't allow you to use atomic creation to directly help advanced intelligent life forms. I want those advanced intelligent life forms to naturally understand technology, find materials, and use technology by themselves. Later, I want them to discover new technology by themselves." Speaking of this, Chen Mu paused and looked at Lve. "Do you understand?" Lve's heart moved, and she said, "Lve understands. The ancestor intends to train them and make them independent." Chen Mu couldn't help but look at Lve more. This little guy is quite smart. If these advanced intelligent life forms on Earth leave the Earth and go outside to obtain evolutionary energy for Shenmue, it means that their survival will be threatened. Only by letting them be independent, exploring on their own, and learning to discover and use new technology can they become stronger and face threats on their own. Shenmue couldn't share the ability of instant adaptation with them after they left the Earth, because the rules of instant adaptation would make the body unable to obtain energy, that is, even if they obtained energy outside, Shenmue couldn't get it. Therefore, only when they can survive, develop, and progress outside the Earth independently, can Shenmue obtain unlimited evolutionary energy continuously. Therefore, Shenmue can share the ability of Green's atomic creation, so that Green can learn to use technology earlier, share technology with these advanced intelligent life on Earth, and plant the seeds of technology for the Earth. Shenmue thought that he needed to explain to Green after he said these words, but he didn't expect Green to understand Shenmue's meaning all of a sudden. This made Shenmue feel interesting. Lve noticed Shenmue's gaze, and she gave an explanation. In fact, a long time ago, Lve has been thinking about the meaning of the ancestor. The ancestor said that the angels should use justice as order and maintain peace on earth. Lve looked at Shenmue, her beautiful eyes glowing with admiration and respect, and said, Lve has been thinking about what to do to be just and peaceful. Justice, what is justice? For angels, killing a criminal is to execute justice, to enforce the law. Lve looked at Shenmue and said, but, this is the justice of angels. For the laws of that country, angels killing people is also a sin. Sometimes, within a force, there are laws of the force. The law itself is right, but when the angel executes justice, but it will destroy the law, causing the angel to become the evil party in the law. Just like some countries require a life for a life, if the angel takes action and punishes the evil people in that country, no matter what the angel did at the time, for that country, the angel will also become a sin. That was a kind king, very popular, but the king became confused after old age and wanted to go to war with neighboring countries. As a result, the angel killed the king, causing the subjects of that country to unite and plan to go to war with the angel. Although they were afraid of the power of the angel and gave up, I can be sure that at that time, the angel was already a demon in their eyes. Lve looked at the sword at her waist, her eyes were shining, and her hand was raised, stroking the sword given to her by Shenmue. She said, angels are gods created by the ancestors. The ancestors mean justice, and the sword of angels is justice. But sometimes, Green will be confused. Green raised her face and looked at Shenmue again. She smiled. Until today, the words of the ancestors have awakened Green. Whether it is the elves, orcs, or humans, they all need self-independence and self-justice. Green looked at Shenmue with admiration in her eyes. When they themselves can't bring them justice, angels will bring them justice. When they can bring them justice, angels will not participate in their development. This is the real justice. In this way, true peace can be brought. This is the peace that the ancestor wants. Now the ancestor wants me to spread technology secretly, but only spread it, let them learn, instead of giving them the results directly. This is also to make them self-independent, just like justice. Lve looked at Shenmue, her beautiful eyes full of reverence. Shenmue fell into deep thought. Shenmue didn't think so much. However, Lve's understanding also achieved Shenmue's goal. Shenmue really wanted those highly intelligent life forms on Earth to be self-independent. So, Shenmue was too lazy to explain. He said, well, go do it. Okay. Lve looked at the other sisters behind him. Sisters, let's go. Under Shenmue's gaze, the angels disappeared from Shenmue's sight. Shenmue's body turned into golden light, and he returned to Earth. Now he has determined the direction, so he controls the Earth to fly in the direction of the sun. Because there is a planet called Mercury in the direction of the sun. When Shenmue did not deliberately use his devouring ability, even if Chenmu moved at the speed of light, the Earth was the same as before, and all creatures on Earth could not feel any changes at first. Until Chenmu got closer and closer to the sun because he did not find Mercury. The creatures on Earth then noticed the growing sun in the sky. On the Earth, Wu Xian, the disciple of the sword god, was carrying the body of his master down the mountain. Suddenly, she found that her shadow was getting longer and longer, and the light in front of her was getting brighter and brighter. She frowned, subconsciously raised her head and looked at the sky. When she saw the sky in front of her, her pupils shrank suddenly, and she stepped back unsteadily. She looked at the sky with trembling eyes and opened her mouth slightly. What is this? I saw that the originally blue sky now had an extremely huge fireball, which covered 1/3 of the sky and reflected the whole world in red. It was as if the whole sky was burning. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 228. As the Earth, Chenmu approaches the Sun at the speed of light. Under normal circumstances, the closer to the Sun, the higher the temperature. The Earth ranks third from the inside to the outside of the solar system. It belongs to the third planet and belongs to the habitable zone. Mercury is the planet closest to the Sun. The temperature on the side of Mercury facing the Sun can reach 427 degrees Celsius. But in fact, in the solar system, the planet with the highest temperature is not Mercury, which is closest to the Sun, but Venus. The highest temperature of Venus can reach 485 degrees Celsius. The reason why Venus is far from the Sun but the temperature is still so high is the greenhouse effect. This Venus, just like the Earth after Chenmu destroyed the ecological environment, has the thickest atmosphere in the solar system. Because of the greenhouse effect, the temperature obtained from the Sun is accumulated inside Venus. All the water vapor of Venus is suspended in the air, forming dark clouds, which eventually leads to extremely high temperatures inside Venus. And the reason why Venus is like this is largely because Venus is too close to the Sun. If Venus is on the Earth's side, then the situation will be completely different. Of course, Chenmu has now become the Earth. Under the influence of instant adaptation, Chenmu's body will not be affected by any external environment. All the highly intelligent life inside is part of Chenmu's body, so naturally it will not be affected. Chenmu flew very close to the Sun, and he stopped. He used his conscious vision to focus on himself and looked forward, looking at the huge fireball in front of him. At this moment, Chenmu had a feeling that it was so big. One Sun is equal to 1.3 million Earths. If you want to compare it with something that exists in reality, then if the size of the Sun is compared to a large watermelon, then the Earth is a sesame seed. That is a very terrifying gap. As the Earth, Chenmu looked at the giant fireball in front of him that was swallowing flames, and he was shocked. He adjusted his emotions a little, and then looked around through his conscious vision. Now Chenmu is very close to the Sun. It should not be difficult to find Mercury here, right? However, Chenmu did not find it. If Chenmu's conscious vision was large enough, he would know what was going on. Mercury moves around the Sun in an elliptical motion. It can reach 700 million kilometers when it is farthest from the Sun, and 400 million kilometers when it is closest. It is a very flat elliptical motion. Among the 8 planets, Mercury's motion trajectory is the flattest, and Venus is the roundest. At this moment, Mercury is on the other side of the Sun. With Chenmu's current conscious vision, Mercury is naturally invisible. Chenmu thought for a while and began to move clockwise around the Sun. Among the 8 planets, except Venus, the orbits of other planets are counterclockwise, that is, as long as you get close to Mercury's orbit and then move clockwise along the orbit, you can naturally meet Mercury. Congratulations on your successful evolution and obtaining the evolution reward information library. Hearing this sudden evolution reward, Chenmu was stunned. The third evolution reward? Suddenly, Chenmu remembered. By the way, when he evolved into an atom before, he got 3 evolution rewards. This time, he became the Earth, and naturally he also got 3 evolution rewards. Shenmue had only received 2 before, and thought that was the only 2, so he didn't think much about it. This sudden third one made Shenmue feel an inexplicable sense of pleasure. However, what is an information library? System, what is the ability of an information library? The system answered Shenmue with the same mechanical voice as always. The information library is the information library of organisms, a place to store various information. After getting the information library reward, you can use and browse, modify, and delete the information library. Shenmue's heart moved. A place to store various information, humans are organisms, and the place where humans store information is the brain, isn't it? In other words, the information library is generally a memory library. In other words, I can browse the memory library of other organisms and peek into other people's memories. Isn't this ability too scary? This ability made Shenmue excited. Although this ability is not very helpful for obtaining evolutionary energy at present, he can feel the horror of this ability. This universe is very, very huge. Compared with the universe, this huge solar system is just a speck of dust in the desert. In this universe, in addition to the Earth civilization, there must be other civilizations. So is there a more powerful civilization? Obviously there is. Is there a civilization that can harm itself? Not necessarily. But if this ability is available, then as long as it is a living creature, as long as it uses this ability, it can review, modify, and delete the memory of others. This ability is a bit too terrifying. Shenmue suddenly had an idea. Try it. That's right, try it. He wants to try this ability. How to try it? Create a creature again, but the newly created creature obviously won't have any memory. In other words, you can only go to the Earth to take a look. Anyway, Mercury can't escape, so Shenmue is not in a hurry. Inside the Earth, Jiwei stood on a high mountain, looking at the huge fireball in the sky that covered half of the sky. At this moment, a full third of the entire Earth's sky was covered by fireballs, and both the clouds and the blue sky turned red at this moment. Why is this happening? Kuwabai didn't know, but now she had too many questions. She originally answered that the Earth was looking for the greenery on the empty island, but she found that the empty island was in ruins. Then she found that all the natural energy in her body had disappeared, and then she saw the scene in front of her. She didn't understand. Suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Kuwabai. Kuwabai took a closer look and saw only green flapping wings flying in the air. She looked at Kuwabai. Kuwabai was slightly startled. Green. Lu Yi smiled. I saw the ancestor just now. Everything that happened on the Earth just now was done by the ancestor. What? Jiwei was stunned for a moment, and she looked at Liu Yi. Have you met my dad? Her eyes were full of surprise. Liu Yi nodded slightly. There was joy on Jiwei's face, and the 9 tails behind him swayed slightly, saying, Take me to see my father quickly, I want to see him. Liu Yi saw the joy on Kuwabai's expression. After Liu Yi realized the problem, her smile slowly disappeared. She looked at Kuwabai with a more apologetic expression, shook her head and said, He left. Hearing this, Kuwabai was stunned for a moment. Leave. Liu Yi was a little helpless. Yes, the ancestor is very busy. Kuwabai's deep orange pupils trembled slightly, with tears filling them. With tears in her eyes, she turned sideways with her back to the greenery behind her, then raised her face and looked at the moon in the sky. 2,731 years, a full 2,731 years, Kuwabai said, I have been waiting for him to wake up, I have been waiting. On the first day of every year, I go to him, help him clean the house, stay with him, and wait for him to wake up. Jiwei's eyes were filled with tears, filled with despair and helplessness, and he said,
Every day I imagined that when he woke up, he would see me for the first time, and then call me by my name, Kuabai. Then I happily called him Daddy, acted like a baby to him like before, and then told him that all the hard work he had put in during this period, is gone now. Kuabai didn't know what to do and was a little confused. The belief that had supported her for more than 2,000 years collapsed at this moment. Looking at Juwei's back, Lu Yi didn't know how to comfort her for a moment. Greenery, a voice sounded out of thin air. Hearing this sound, Lu Yi and Juwei were stunned, and they subconsciously looked towards the source of the sound. I saw a pair of holy white wings stretching in mid-air. A familiar figure flapped its wings and stood in the air. He flapped his wings and landed on the ground. After he stood firm, he slowly retracted his wings and looked at the two people in front of him. Green eyes lit up, and she looked at Kuabai subconsciously. Kuabai had a smile on his face. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 229. Ninetail took small steps, 3 steps at a time, and then ran to Chen Mu. With a leap, she threw herself directly into Chen Mu's arms. Dad Ninetail looked at Chen Mu, her deep orange eyes looked very beautiful, filled with joy. It has been more than 2,000 years since Ninetail separated from Chen Mu. Chen Mu is not just the creator of Ninetail. When Ninetail stayed with the angels to learn knowledge, she kept hearing the angels talk about Chen Mu. Through the angels, she got to know Chen Mu and roughly realized how strong and great Chen Mu was. She knew that all the creatures in the world were created by Chen Mu. After that, she entered the earth and observed the creatures on the earth while carrying out her mission. She found that on the earth, highly intelligent life is the master of this earth. Among these highly intelligent life, there are smart and stupid ones. In her eyes, stupid highly intelligent life is almost the same as those low-level animals. As for those smart highly intelligent creatures, the smarter they are, the more she worships Chen Mu. Because these lives were created by Chen Mu. If they are smart, doesn't that mean Chen Mu is smarter? Because when carrying out the mission on Earth, through these creatures created by Chen Mu, Juwei can feel Chen Mu's strength and greatness more and more. As time goes by, she wants to wait for Chen Mu to wake up more and more, thinking about talking to Chen Mu and acting coquettish. Chen Mu glanced at the fluffy nine-tailed tail behind Juwei. Just now, Chen Mu came to find Levi, but he didn't expect that a little guy who was not familiar with him suddenly appeared, but when he saw the 9 tails behind this little guy, he knew who this enthusiastic little guy was. Juwei. Chen Mu looked at Juwei in front of him, but found that Juwei had grown up a lot compared to the last time he saw her. Her temperament is not as innocent as before. She has a charming temperament all over her body, and standing next to Levi, who has a holy temperament, the difference is very big. In some senses, this little guy has indeed grown up. Chen Mu said, I heard about you from Levi. I heard that you completed the task and did a good job. Like Levi, Juwei is a worker placed on earth by himself. You should know that without Dongfanglong, Angel, Juwei, and nanorobots to manage this farm, Chen Mu spent more than 700 years to obtain 1% of the evolutionary energy. With them, this time he only took more than 2,800 years to obtain 98% of the evolutionary energy progress and successfully evolved. This gap is of course attributed to these workers, so naturally I have to praise them. Chen Mu will not be stingy about a word. Hearing Chen Mu's affirmation, Juwei's eyes lit up slightly, and the charming eyes on her charming and beautiful face were shining. Finally waited for it. Juwei worked hard for more than 2,000 years to complete the task assigned to her, just to get a word of affirmation from Chen Mu. Even when she was dreaming, Juwei hoped to get Chen Mu's affirmation. Now that she has finally waited for it,
Zhu Wei feels a strong sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. It is difficult to express the feeling of being affirmed by the existence that she respects and loves the most after working hard for a long time. Zhu Wei used to be a little puzzled as to why the angel regarded Chen Mu's order so seriously, but now Zhu Wei can completely understand it. She said happily, as long as it can help Dad, Zhu Wei is willing to do anything. Chen Mu crossed his arms and said, now that the nanorobots have been completely wiped out by me, the world will probably be turbulent for a while. During this time, you continue to follow Lu Yi, learn about technology, and turn technology into another power for the demons you manage. Okay, Zhu Wei immediately responded enthusiastically. Chen Mu couldn't help but look at Zhu Wei more. This girl looks a lot older than she was more than 2,000 years ago, but judging from her personality, it seems that there is not much difference from more than 2,000 years ago. It's just that her temperament has changed on the surface, but she is still like a child in her heart. By the way, I can use the information database to see what Zhu Wei has experienced over the years. Information database. Chen Mu opened the information database of Zhu Wei. At this moment, Chen Mu only felt that the surroundings suddenly dimmed, and his consciousness was pulled into another space. It was pitch black all around, and in this dark space, Chen Mu saw countless pictures. Those pictures were the information stored by Zhu Wei for more than 2,000 years. In layman's terms, they were the memories accumulated by Zhu Wei for more than 2,000 years. Chen Mu looked at the memory pictures that appeared in the blue frames. He raised his hand and touched the pictures surrounding him. The pictures were touched. Then they began to move, and a string of pictures surrounded Chen Mu. As one picture after another passed by, from the outside, the speed of these pictures passing by was very fast and could not be seen clearly at all. But Chen Mu saw it clearly. All the memories and experiences of Zhu Wei for more than 2,000 years were read by Chen Mu at this moment. This space disappeared. Chen Mu came back to his senses, but found that he had returned to Zhu Wei and Liu Yi. Was that the information database just now? Those images were obviously Qiubai's memories. What I saw were all her memories. Such a long memory. The first ancestor. Chen Mu came back to his senses and found that Lv and Zhu Wei were looking at him. Lv had a hint of doubt and puzzlement in her eyes. Chen Mu said, how long has it been? When he just flipped through the information database, he felt as if a long time had passed. Lv said doubtfully, just now, the ancestor affirmed Zhu Wei's efforts, and then let Zhu Wei learn to use technology as the power of the demon race beside Lv. Just now. In other words, when entering the space of the information database, the time spent inside was only a moment. In fact, the so-called flipping through the information database is actually importing the other party's information database directly into Chen Mu's information database. Human memory is accumulated little by little over time. If you want to obtain new memories, you have to obtain these memories little by little. But the information database opened by the system is different. Zhu Wei's memory has been accumulated long ago. If Chen Mu wants to read these memories, he will directly copy a copy and import it directly into Chen Mu's information database. This is equivalent to reading, and this process does not need to be accumulated, but is completed in an instant. It's really a perverted ability. By browsing other people's information database, one can obtain all of their memories, which is equivalent to knowing what they have done and all of their life experiences. The simplest way to put it is that if the person Chen Mu is browsing is Einstein, he can understand everything that Einstein knows. Become a sea squirt larva and eat a brain first. Author, Chen Wunian. Chapter 230. Just as Chen Mu was thinking, a voice rang out. Angel, I never thought that you shameless guys would dare to appear here. The voice interrupted Chen Mu's thoughts, and he came back to his senses and looked at the source of the voice. A girl in black armor was standing not far away. She was carrying a bladeless heavy sword behind her. Her face was dirty and looked very embarrassed.
Her eyes were looking straight at Lve, and there was a light of hope in her eyes. She was also carrying a lifeless corpse. After saying this, the woman hurriedly knelt on one knee and carefully put the corpse on the ground. After looking at the corpse, she pulled out the bladeless heavy sword behind her, pointed it at the three people in front, and said, "You dare not fight my master head-on, but only dare to play tricks secretly, causing my master to fall from a high altitude. What angel of justice is simply nonsense. It's your bad luck that I met you today." Lve was a little confused, and she subconsciously looked at Chen Mu. This is a small matter. If it were normal, Lvi would just deal with it herself. But when her ancestor is here, no matter what happens, big or small, Lvi will first give the decision to the ancestor. When the ancestor is here, Chen Mu can only choose the solution to the problem first. If Chen Mu wants Lvi to handle this matter, then Lvi will handle it. This is her respect for Chen Mu. Zhu Wei also looked at Chen Mu. After seeing Lvi and Zhu Wei both looking at Chen Mu, Wu Xian also looked at Chen Mu. Chen Mu looked at the human race that suddenly appeared in front of him. To be honest, Chen Mu did not intend to talk to these highly intelligent beings on Earth, because in his eyes, these were just animals raised in his own breeding farm. Like Zhu Wei, they are the workers of this farm to help him take care of this breeding farm. Workers naturally have to communicate, but these creatures don't need to. When Chen Mu was about to ignore Wu Xian, he suddenly had an idea. He used the information database on Wu Xian in front of him, and browsed Wu Xian's memory through the information database. In fact, Chen Mu's understanding of the information database was not completely correct. A person's information database does contain memories, but there are many other things besides memories. A person has genes in his body, and genes are inherited, and these genes will record many information databases, and this information is also in the information database. A person's thoughts at the moment, these things are all information contained in a human body. When the body still exists, this information database will exist in the human body, but when the body does not exist, this information database will not disappear directly, but exist in this world in a form. Because human technology cannot understand this phenomenon, just like humans regard nanorobots as spiritual energy, fighting spirit, and magic energy, humans also give the information database a name. When Chen Mu flipped through Wu Xian's information database, he understood everything. Wu Xian noticed the sight of Lve and Zhu Wei, and she suddenly realized that among the three unique beings in front of her, Chen Mu had the most say. She looked at Chen Mu, raised the heavy sword in her hand, and pointed the tip of the sword at Chen Mu. Chen Mu had already seen Wu Xian's information database, so he naturally knew what happened. Wu Xian's master Tang Jian called the nanorobots that Chen Mu spread in this world fighting spirit, and also used nanorobots for so-called cultivation. These nanorobots are a collection of half machine and half organism. Although Chen Mu gave these nanorobots instructions, as time went on, the half-organism inside them caused them to have some biological characteristics. In layman's terms, they stay in the host's body, and if they like the host, they will do something beyond the instructions. In another parallel world on Earth, the nanorobots imagined by humans are made by humans, half machine and half organism. Of course, nanorobots are still in the research stage and are not really mature enough for use. The nanorobots currently known are all in the concept. In the concept, nanorobots are created by humans. Although their bodies are made of metal, they also have biological characteristics. The nanorobots obtained by Chen Mu through the template constructed by the system also have these characteristics. Behaviors like helping the host build wings, which shouldn't have appeared, became normal under the influence of the biological characteristics of the nanorobots. Humans use these behaviors of nanorobots to carry out so-called cultivation. Through these cultivation, these humans can do some special things, and then their ambitions expand, and they even think about challenging angels to prove their strength. This is too stupid. Chen Mu, who has read Wu Xian's information database and knows the specific situation, suddenly felt unhappy. These are nanorobots, not fighting spirits. If humans continue to do this, they can indeed win others with their own strength, but so what? Nanorobots can't protect humans from surviving in outer space. If they continue to develop like this, without learning basic technology, it is estimated that they will not be able to leave the Earth and fly into space in a few million years. Now they don't even know whether the Earth is spherical. Nanorobots are obviously high-tech, but these humans on Earth don't understand this high-tech and directly deify it. It's too stupid. Before, Chen Mu didn't care, but now Chen Mu is not very happy. Chen Mu raised his hand, and vines grew out from under the tree, forming a chair made of plants. He sat on the chair, and the wings behind him slowly folded up, and he looked at Wu Xian. He didn't say anything, just looked at Tang Jian's body. After seeing the body, Chen Mu suddenly had an idea. Corpse, does it have an information database? Thinking of this, he used the information database on the corpse. The moment Chen Mu used this ability, everything around him turned dark, and Tang Jian's body disappeared, but where the body was, a body emitting a blue halo could be seen. No, that's not right, that's not a body, it's a humanoid energy body made of unknown energy. Do you want to read the information database? The system's voice sounded. In other words, the humanoid energy body is Tang Jian's information database. But seeing this shape, Chen Mu inexplicably had a guess. System, tell me, is that a soul? The system said, the information library is a place where dark information is stored. Any creature will generate dark information, store it, and form an information library. People do not understand the existence of the information library, so many names are born, among which the information library also has a nickname called soul. Sure enough. Chen Mu said, system, if a person dies, I can repair his body and then import the knowledge library back into his body. Can I do it? Yes, the system answered mechanically. When Chen Mu heard this answer, his eyes lit up slightly. This means that Chen Mu can resurrect any creature.